Time now for Media Watch. James Creedon's here. James, the French media, more and more dominated by someone who could be seen as yesterday's man, but he's anything but, it seems.
That's right. For 1 week, for 8 days, Mark, headlines in the French papers. Let's take a look at Le Figaro. UMP, suicide en direct, suicide, it's almost suicide watch. They were talking about civil war last week, but now this is the headline that we're seeing in the press a lot. Sarkozy, can he save the UMP party? The two guys who are fighting it out, Jean-François Copé, François Fillon, both have had a conversation with him today, or in some way, shape or form, and a lot of people are saying he could be the man to save the UMP party from this. This is Le Monde's cartoonist Plantou, and you see them with axes and knives and votes and the whole lot. Of course, big row over alleged voting fraud, and the UMP party, they're featured on the right, being the big victim. Now, the UMP logo has been massively satirised online, Mark. You can see it there with the tree. Now, that tree has been mangled and turned into all sorts of, I suppose, versions of the same.
It looks like the tree out of Waiting for Godot there, doesn't it?
Right, there you go. Losing its leaves, because the whole thing here is that they're splitting the party in two, as this particular one points out, and actually they risk finishing off the UMP party fully. 6 feet under, that's another one there.
Ah, that's clever.
And here we have a UMP party. That isn't a tree anymore. That is an atomic bomb. And here we have, instead of UMP, RIP. Right, so that you're seeing a lot of that. Now, here was the man who was supposed to come as the saviour to them all. Former Foreign Minister, former Prime Minister Alain Juppé. He was due to mediate. On Friday, they were talking about that. So along comes John Paul / Alain with his little hat. Except it turned out to be Mission Impossible, UMP Possible. And there he is in that mock-up of Mission Impossible with the two bold boys, the two bad boys behind who just won't agree and who can only agree to disagree, right? Then you had, these are all on Twitter, by the way. These are mock-ups that you see on Twitter. This is a big feature now of any sort of big news story that has a sort of a funny edge to it. You see massive amounts of satire online, which I have to say is quite amusing. And this whole story does have a soap opera quality to it. So in the middle, you've got Juppelieu. That's a reference to Richelieu.
Yeah.
That's right. Copillon, that would be Mr. Napoleon.
Indeed.
And François II, that's François Hollande. So there you go. And also, I quite like this one.
François Fillon.
That's it. Sorry, François Fillon. Somebody managed to get a photo of the evacuation map in the instance of there being a fire at the UMP headquarters on Rue de Vaugirard in the 15th arrondissement. And of course, the whole thing is, how are they going to get out? How are they going to escape? The escape map here. How are they going to escape out of this massive crisis? You always see these when do you remember when they spoke about Merkozy? Yeah. And they blended the two of them together. I love that photo. Any chance to pull it out again. And now you've got the possible next leader of the UMP party, some sort of merged, nightmarish kind of Copillon. So there you go, Mark. It's it's everywhere. It's
absolutely crazy stuff. And of course, the thing is, the longer this goes on, the more this will continue, this kind of pulling apart and the satirization of that, which is...
I kind of thought it had been taken as far as it could go last week. And then, of course, over the weekend, the drama, it kept on going. And here people are keeping on being creative as well.
It's making French politics even more exciting. Where do you want to go next, James?
All right, well, the Rolling Stones, Mark. We were talking about it earlier.
Do you like the Rolling Stones?
I do like the Rolling Stones.
Me too.
I have to say. Start Me Up. Big fan of that one. You can't always get what you want. That's another famous Rolling Stone lyric. This is from the Telegraph Music, their Twitter feed. For the right ticket price, you can.
Because lots of people have been complaining about the cost of these tickets. Even the face value tickets are incredibly expensive. It's like 100 quid for the first price and up to, say, 400 for the most expensive ones to 1,000 if you're on the front row. It's
crazy.
That's ridiculous. And people are saying, how can ordinary fans afford that?
50 years of musical capital, I suppose. You know, maybe they're thinking at this point, we call the shots. Here you have another lyric. Lots of people putting up lyrics about the start of this 50th anniversary tour. Start it up. Obviously, that's a pretty apt lyric to put in there at the start of a concert.
Indeed.
And this person being a little bit unreasonable and saying he'd really just like the Stones to live forever and continue making music videos forever. I think they're doing pretty well at 50 years on. So
well, they've got a new single out, first one in 6 years, I believe, as well as an album as well. But it's amazing to think that, they started out in this business like the year that I was born, and I liked them. You're considerably younger than me. You like them. There's a whole new generation discovering them.
They've got
kids
broad appeal. And I think we've got even a bit of music to listen to now.
Let's take a little,
I'm sure our viewers like it too.
Little extract from the performance in London. Get off of my cloud. Stay with it.